All right, you are now tuned in to the Rotated Views podcast. I am your host, Jimmylee Velez. I am here with Gabe, Goose, Heck, and SheedPoetry. Knowledge is a wealth. We cover topics that range from the law of attraction, positivity, energy fields, numerology, divine coincidences, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Michael Jordan and Harvey Mackay. Guys, if you're new, thank you for listening. Don't forget to download and subscribe. We drop a new episode every Tuesday morning for your listening pleasure. Kicking things off, SheedPoetry. Thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate it.
Actually for having me, man. It's such an honor and a blessing to be here and to be with you guys during this time.
So we actually had you on featured with AAA, episode 224.
Yes, sir.
So for those of who did not have a chance or opportunity to actually listen to that show, let us know who you are and what you do.
So basically, I'm an artist. I'm a level 1 Reiki healer. I'm a rapper, MC, singer. But basically, I've been focused on my spiritual path and using all these assets that I've built in myself and use those tools to portray like a higher message and just being yourself and a good vibration during these times especially.
Yeah. So how do you get started in that? If something happened to you, does it kind of like because a lot of times, not necessarily like a crisis or anything like that, but just something traumatic maybe, or is it just something that is always instilled in you and just kind of just developing it?
I've had traumatic experiences, definitely, for sure. My friends know. I'm open to talking about it, but it's good because that's the whole part of my healing journey and
exactly
and being that advocate. You know, mental health is such a big thing these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So let's jump right in. What for you? What's the goal of one becoming knowledgeable of our true nature?
I don't know if you heard of the app Clubhouse.
No.
It's a new platform where people basically, unlike Instagram, you just hop into a room, and it's named whatever, and there's moderators and speakers.
Okay.
And I've been doing spiritual work for so long, it just came so easily, and I'm basically already tapped into that new platform. So.
Oh, nice.
Things are just moving so fast at this point, you know. So
you use that platform for your teachings?
Yeah, like speaking in the mornings and meditations and talking about crystal healings and bringing that oneness with each other and that love and speaking on that nature and bringing us back to our roots and where we came from.
So talk about that. Talk about some of the tools that can be used, right? Mm-hmm. I know there's a bunch of different techniques. I know there's stones, there's different obviously there's methodologies that everyone uses, and not one is right, one is wrong. It's just kind of whatever fits that person best, I guess, and that whatever one that they find most effective. But you want to talk a little bit? I know there's like tuning forks. There's different things for the different chakras. I mean, what are some of the tools maybe that you use? Yeah,
chakras are definitely my thing. I've studied that and been familiar with that community and people that have knowledge on those things, and I've always been involved like naturally. So I don't know if you have I just want to inspire you, and if you have a gift, use it because one day we're gonna need it.
For sure. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What about the like the necklace you're wearing, or there's multiple necklaces that you're wearing? Yeah. There's stones. Are you able to talk about those or the meaning of them, or?
Yeah. So sorry, you asked about healing modalities and things like tuning forks and stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's. So for example, this right here is oregonite. This is real powerful. This is mixed with some tiger's eye, which is good for energy protection. Oregonite. This is good for. This is a pendulum right here. Oregonite, this is really good for 5G, and 5G towers are known to cause cancer. So
explain a little bit about oregonite, right? So that's the necklace that you're wearing.
There's so many stones for your different chakras, you know, and the darker stones are for grounding and protection. This right here is just people use this to like a pendulum where it just spins, and if your chakras are balanced, it'll like spin in a certain way.
Oh wow!
And if it's out of balance, it'll like you'll see it like because you know, truly we're energy. We're more than our bodies, actually, and people are starting to adhere to that and to be open to ancient cosmology and open to all these different types of things other than what they've been grown up upon, you know. And people are just becoming open-minded, and just that collective is a big thing because we can all see and feel that and hear that and relate to each other, community.
So speaking of energy, I remember my wife and I took a trip to California, and I don't know, there was this necklace that, you know, one of the street vendors was selling. We're in Venice.
Yeah.
And I bought it, and I guess it looked like.
You know the name?
No. So here's where the here's where the level of ignorance comes in. Yeah. So I bought this chain because of the looks, right? And it was this white stone, and it went into like an arrowhead kind of thing. Yeah. And I remember just walking a little bit further along, and I don't know how. I guess my wife had to use the bathroom or something, but I was standing out there by myself, and one of the vendors came up to me. He's like, "Hey, where'd you get that necklace from?" And I explained that. He's like, "Do you know who made it?" And I was like, "Nah, I just bought it off that guy." He's like, "When you buy something like that, you should know who made it." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "People put different energies into their work, and you don't know if that was a negative energy that he put into that. You should be a little bit more aware, especially around here. You're not sure what's going on, and I can already tell you're not from here." And I'm like, "I'm not. I'm from the East Coast." He's like, "Yeah, I would trash it or give it back." Yeah, it's probably the best energies to.
Wait, where you on vacation? Where were you at?
I was in Venice. I was in California.
Venice in California.
Venice, yeah.
Oh shoot. Okay, yeah. So you're all the way on the West Coast.
Oh yeah. So. That's crazy. So I didn't know what to do, so I kept it because I'm like, I don't know if this guy was just talking crazy or if it was me, or I'm like, but in my mind he had a point. Right. So I brought it all the way home. As I was going home, I was doing what I liked about it though was that it forced me to do research. It forced me to investigate. It forced me to look further into it. Yeah. And when I did, and then we had a long plane ride home. So I'm reading all this stuff. By the time I got home, needless to say, I trashed it. But I liked that experience because it gave me an awareness. But hopefully, you know.
Wait, what were you feeling like?
I didn't feel anything. I felt confusion.
Weird vibes from it, or
no? I felt confusion. Actually, ignorance. That's and confusion. Big. Yeah, and on my part.
And then you threw it out.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because initially, you know, you hear a lot of things. I don't know if this guy was messing with me. I don't know what was going on. So I'm like, I just paid like $20 for this thing. I'm not just gonna right away just because this guy said that trash it because I don't really know. Yeah. So after I did research, I'm like, I probably shouldn't even brought it on that plane. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You gotta always watch what we have around us.
Yeah.
Like even as kids, like we're so like connected to one toy for so long, and then you see how fast they move to the next. But it's like that attachment, you know? It's like you need something. It's like an energy thing, you know?
1,000% is an energy thing. And that you get that, sometimes you get the vibes off people, you know what I mean? And depending on what that is, you either connect with it or you disconnect with it. But sometimes a lot of people get caught in the middle. And that's where that necklace story comes in, where I was stuck. And I couldn't even make a choice. That's why I said confusion. And a lot of times when you're in the energy of confusion, you make bad choices.
That was your intuition. That was your gut. That was your inner knowing. That you knew something was up. So
yeah, absolutely. And I had that conversation with my wife on the way back, and I was like, I kind of felt like you feel corny afterward. I'm like, I can't believe I did that. Like,
you laugh after.
Afterwards it's funny, but you know, when I bought it for strictly out of style or whatever, just look cool. But talk about that, right? Because one of the things that I'm there's a 528 hertz tuning fork that I've been starting to utilize, right? And I was trying to explain to my family the vibration or the sound that it gives off is the quote perfect tune.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to, I guess, put you back in realignment, your DNA and things like that, back your molecules back into realignment.
Yeah.
So I'm just getting started with that stuff.
Wow.
But I'm super fascinated by it, and you get a natural. Well, I get a buzz.
Euphoria. Yeah.
Woo! Mm-hmm. And I hit that, and my son started laughing at me, right? And I said, "Come here." And I hit the tuning fork and put it by his ear, and I'm telling you, like he just went like he completely froze and just was like looking in space.
Days, yeah.
It caught him, like the sound caught him. He didn't know. He stopped laughing. He stopped there. He's like,
"That's therapeutic."
Yeah,
that's beautiful.
And he just walked away. Didn't say anything.
That's big. Yeah. That's growth. You know?
Yeah. So people use that for healing. They use it for all different things. What's your interaction with tuning forks? Have you used them or you know of them?
I know they use them at like holistic dentists.
Yeah. Holistic dentist?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I've done Reiki sessions.
Yeah.
Done like master Reiki practitioners. You go into like a deep trance.
Yeah.
My skin. I used to have eczema. My skin was real bad. I did acupuncture with the needles.
Yeah.
Yo, that acupuncture session is like that one just did so much.
That's awesome.
Same thing with Reiki, and then I was with somebody, and we got a degree in our Reiki 1, which is like, you know, self Reiki if you have like pain and stuff. It's like energy healing. Ray is universal, keys energy. So yeah.
So my experience, I did acupuncture, and I remember my initial experience. I go into a lot of stuff super
You
raw.
guys, any of you did acupuncture?
I never have, nah. No.
So I get in there, right?
You can feel it though.
She starts like stabbing my feet with these needles, right?
If you're sensitive.
And she's talking. So mind you, again, me going in just raw. I don't know what's going on. I don't know what to expect. I did very minimal like research, but one of the things I thought, just like a massage, for me, it's obnoxious if you're getting massage and the person's talking to you, because now you're messing with my flow. Now my mind is not relaxed. I'm not relaxed. I'm stimulated because I'm talking to you. Yeah.
Relaxed.
So this lady I'm getting acupuncture, and she's talking the whole entire time, and I am getting heated. I'm getting more and more heated. She had music in the background, but she just overtook the entire environment, whatever it was. So long story short, that was my only experience. Long story short though, probably a half hour after my session, she's like, drink a lot of water, make sure you don't have anything super active to do after this. And I'm angry at this point. By the time I leave, I'm angry. On my way home, I thought I was floating on a cloud. All of a sudden, it just went boom. Everything hit me. For about an hour and a half, I was just buzzing.
Your aura got a tune-up.
Woo! Big time.
So it's like how we take showers. Our mind needs a shower. Like if we don't take that time each day to meditate, like, or download an app, or do something to give you that knowing inner space, you know. Got a goal, everyone got a plan. It's just like the belief and the, you know, gratitude for everything around you, and use that to keep you going, and the belief that, you know, you're gonna make it out great.
Of course.
Unless you know that right now, you know. Right now is the only time we have. Time is moving so fast. That's what I was talking about today with my spiritual group. Time is moving so fast. Like, it's already 2021. Like,
yeah.
You guys remember 2020? I don't think anybody will forget 2020. Historic. Like, future textbooks, whatever y'all had, Instagram. You're gonna live forever, yeah. Yep. And all the experience that you had together, y'all gonna see it back. That's why I'm with my family. I'm with my soul family. You know what I mean? That's how you gotta keep it.
Yeah. So in a funny way to put it, we're just really meat suits walking around, right? Because we're more than just our body, right? But just something that you just said, that you're saying that time flies, is hilarious. Facebook does this thing where on this day, 6 years ago, X, Y, and Z, you posted this. Yeah. And it was a picture of my son. And it was 6 years ago, and he was a baby. And I'm thinking, wow, and it's funny too, because when you're raising a kid or raising a child, and everything's so fast paced, it just keeps it moving. Then you got to work, and then you got to do this, and all of a sudden that makes you pause and like, this week he'll be 7, and that picture's from when he was 1. I'm just thinking back. I'm like, dude, that was 6 years, and honestly, snap of a finger. To see things like that, it makes you pause, and it makes you think about how far we've come, and how fast and how precious life really is. And I don't know if that would cross my mind.
Life is precious, man.
For sure.
Life is, as you get older, you notice it more. As you see the people around you get older, you spend more time in gratitude, spend more time appreciating what you have.
We start out simple as kids, baby. We just want basic things. We don't know any better. And for whatever reason, in the middle there, somehow, we complicate the breaks out of it. I mean, we complicate it so much.
Yeah, I like how you said that.
Yeah.
'Cause we get into society and we're subject to so many things. Middle school, these kids are doing this. Is that cool for me or not? High school, we start playing sports, and then we get into that, and we're just shaped and molded by the experiences we go through.
Right. If someone lives, let's just say the 70 years, let's just say.
Yeah.
And I think the first 10 maybe super simple. After from like 10 to 25, we get so complicated, we're in over our heads. We think we know it all, and you just whatever. And then after a while, you get humbled.
Yeah.
Until you ever talk to my grandfather. He's the most simplest person now.
Yeah, they're wise.
They're so
Simplicity
basic
is key.
and simple. He goes here for breakfast. He wears this kinds of clothes. He goes to church here. It's like very basic, and it's funny. He's sitting. And what do you think when people retire? He's like, I want to simplify my life. I want to downsize.
Right.
They get smaller homes. Everything gets more and more simple. But for whatever reason, in the middle there, we complicate the craziness and make it even, I guess, worse on ourselves. And I don't know if it depends on everyone's level of awareness, right? Some people don't even have to be that complicated, right?
Yeah.
Myself, I have to ram my head into the wall 15 times before I realize I'm complicating it. I'm in my own way.
Yeah.
But some people get it the first,
That's
obviously.
okay.
Yeah, but I just thought of it.
Slow progress is still progress.
For sure. So talk about a little bit of divine coincidences.
Oh. There's so many of that. You could not see or talk to someone for X amount of days, but you get this zip thought in your head, and then boom, let's say you get a text right there or a call out of nowhere. That's like divine, because you were tapped in already, or that's part of the 1111 and 222. It's all about tapping into your knowing that your guides are around, and your spirit guides are around, and your ancestors are around, and it's grounding you, making sure that you're protected, and those are like the best coincidences, because it's messages from, it's outer worldly, but you're still here, you're able to portray that message.
So the teacher appears when the student is ready.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, the more and more what you just said, 111, that just happens to be today's date. Obviously, when we drop this, folks,
Beautiful.
it's going to be the following.
I'm happy.
It's going to be the following week.
That's like rebirth.
Absolutely. When we talk about that, the numerology aspect, and not even have to be numerology, just when you talk about divine coincidences, when you see constant patterns, let's just say, it's just what we're saying. Our angels trying to guide us in some way, and when a person is aware of that, they see it more. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So I feel like when I first started,
if they're open to that,
because
they'll notice it more and more.
Yes.
And then they'll see people who talk about that, and then they'll be like, "Oh, damn, this is a thing."
And so every time we see, 333, I take a picture on my phone, send it to my brothers or whatever. We see it all the time. Or if you believe in pennies from heaven, every time you see like a penny on the floor or something like that.
Right.
If that's not something you would ever believe in, then it doesn't have to be. But if that's something you're in tune with, and they figure, okay, that's how he wants to communicate with us, that's how we're gonna do it.
Yeah.
But obviously there's patterns. There's patterns in things, and there's numbers always floating around, trying to give us messages. Sometimes we don't see them. Sometimes we're blind to it. So are you in belief of that we're constantly being guided, or they're trying to help us, or what's your thought process on that?
I feel like we're all being guided. We all have a certain amount of angels. We all have a lineage behind us that planted seeds while they were here, and we're like the trees and the leaves, and we're the botanists too, to plant more seeds for the future generation to reap the benefits. I feel like it could get messages to do a certain decision in your life, go a different route, things of that nature.
Yeah.
Intuition, yeah.
So one thing that I always find fascinating is, like, Heck, Goose, and myself have the same mother and the same father, right? And how three individuals created by the same two beings can be so different. And I know one of the things in astrology is depends on when you were born is very important to, I guess, the person. I guess more of your mannerisms and the nature that's built in you. Not necessarily saying that that's what you got to go with, but that's just what's natural to you. So if you're born in January 19th at a specific time of the day.
At a specific time, at a specific location,
exactly.
It all makes a difference. Yeah.
All of it.
Right.
And that, to me, is one of the easiest ways I can define. Is like, all right, you all might look alike. You ever see, like we always say, even twins. Yeah. Which is even crazier to me.
That's crazy. Twins, triplets, the whole thing is crazy.
And they're still different.
Like clones, yeah.
So that's why you got to believe in the time aspect of that.
Yeah.
Because they're born from the same hospital, I should say, right? Yeah. Within the same hour, from the same parent, everything, right?
Right.
It has to be time then. That's the only difference.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah.
If you're interested in that, look that stuff up. It's very fascinating. I mean, you can get into like the rabbit hole with that stuff too.
Right.
But I think it's important to factor in all those things where you pull in the numerology, you pull in the astrology, you pull in divine coincidences, and you start adding everything up. Now you start moving.
Yeah.
You start moving different.
Yeah. Yeah.
Start associating yourself differently.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's a guide. Yeah. Numbers are guides.
Yes.
And numbers can give you answers.
So, in your opinion, why is knowledge wealth?
If you could teach a man to fish, you feed him for life. So, if you teach someone how to obtain knowledge, they can obtain something wealth can't buy, something money can't buy, something any materialistic thing can buy. Wisdom is truth. Wisdom is peace. Wisdom is love. And knowledge is such a big thing, because knowing yourself is where it changes, and where you know where you came from, you know who you are. Like in the flesh, we know we come from a divine source. We're gonna associate with the world way differently. And if we tap into that, you're going to be way more confident. You're going to tap into those messages. And then, you could cultivate those tools in your art, in your music, in your motivational speaking, and in the way you live your life. Yeah, for sure.
What, to switch gears a little bit, let's talk about energy fields. Can we say that's something planetary, or is that something that comes off of us as humans? Is that something that's naturally created, organically, or something that's man-made as well, as we were talking about 5G earlier?
Yeah, planets have a lot to do with. Mercury has to do with communication. Mars has to do with action. So if you look into those planets, and if you guys look into your birth chart, look at your 10th house, you can see where your ideal career would be. So it's just a lot of things that I'm learning these days. It's just like endless because, you know, it could be such a blessing to the world when things fit right. So yeah, I hope that was relatable.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What we say, it was crazy. You just said, I'm referring back to the initial topic, or the previous topic, sorry. Knowledge is wealth, and which obviously is the title of this episode. Me and Gabe went to a Barnes & Nobles here locally.
Yeah.
And
Hey, knowledge is wealth.
Yeah.
I wanted to get my finances straight. I walk up to, I don't even know, it was like the finance section or whatever, and I stood there and I got like, I welted up because I got so overwhelmed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know anything. But I wanted to say that to say this: don't let that paralyze you, because sometimes, like you just said,
It
it's
could
infinite.
hinder you.
Yeah, it can hinder you.
You're too hard on yourself.
Right.
You gotta love yourself at first.
Yeah.
Then go out into the world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to forgive yourself.
Forgiveness is the fragrance that the flower has shed from the heel that has crushed it. You know, that's what I like to go by. That's Rumi.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Forgiveness is big, man, because it could hold such a big thing. Holding a grudge, or I like my friends that don't hold no grudges against no one. That's inspiring to me. To, like, you know, life is the less baggage, you're more free. If you're a free person, it's
Yeah, and there's a bunch of I guess parables in the Bible as well, where they talk about
for
when
real.
Jesus could have came down on someone real hard, but he did, and he gave him grace, right? And there's some level of, I don't know, just power in that and righteousness in that. But it goes back to forgiveness. And one thing that I was carrying around was just I didn't realize it, just a heavy heart, and just what you said, grudge, but it was almost a grudge against myself. It wasn't even against anyone. And that was the heaviest thing. It was the heaviest armor I've ever worn in my life. Was grudge against my own self.
That's big.
And
That's relatable.
I was so mad at myself. That. Yeah, I was just angry at myself. I was mad at myself. I was disappointed. Just because my expectations were not realistic. And when your expectations aren't realistic, it's gonna lead to frustration. And when I became so frustrated, I held a grudge almost against myself. And then you start to think that you become not deserving of X, Y, and Z.
Yes.
And then you hold a heavier grudge, and now this thing is weighing me down to the point where I damn near buried myself in anger and negative emotion.
Right.
And little by little, you start peeling off layers. After appreciation, forgiveness, something good happens, and then little by little, you start to understand how to operate in a world that is moving so fast, with the ability to forgive yourself. Because if that's not there,
you gotta forgive. Forgiveness
there's layers.
Is big, man.
Yes, it's like another. It's
on
like
this path that we live in.
Yeah.
This world that we live in.
Yeah. For sure.
We have to
ourselves first, and then obviously those
forgive
around
ourselves.
us.
No, it's big. I like what you said.
Yeah.
Holding a grudge on yourself. A lot of times, if we can be in our own heads, create fear out of, thin
Bro,
air.
I was making up scenarios that weren't even real.
Like, and there's so many different modalities of healing nowadays. Like, ayahuasca and, a lot of.
So, but with ayahuasca, some people, their experiences are, well, I guess with anything is, they vary, and I know obviously it depends on the approach, I guess.
Right.
And then the doctor that's there doing it with them.
The shaman
that's there with them. But man, you hear some bizarre stuff.
Right.
You hear a lot of people
throw up.
Yeah.
Everyone has buckets. Some people go for the 4th, 5th time.
Right. And they
learn how to channel that spirit of Mother Aya into like healing a real demon in your life. Like, I don't know, alcoholism, long-term trauma, PTSD. Like, people go through things, you know, and people have things latched onto their energy field,
Right.
basically, you know, essentially.
So you say you meditate in the how many times do you meditate? Multiple times a day? Is it
Meditation, a lot of times people associate it with like they overthink it, or they think you have to sit on a pillow, or you know, sit on the right mat. You could doing dishes could be your meditation. Producing a beat or writing a poem could be a meditation too. So I wanna really let that be a message, because listening to a couple of your favorite songs in the morning, you know, you're just feeling good. You gotta. That's what self-love is really about. It's just like knowing you and where your energy stands.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And meditation. Yeah, that's big. In it's been talked about more, and it goes with the crystals and the chakras, you know, to balance everything. You need stillness, because our minds are so cluttered. We have like 10,000 thoughts every so many minutes, and I don't know, I felt like mental health is big. I'm an advocate. I'm big on that. You know, part of why I do music, part of why I'm on it, Instagram, you know, preaching a message, you know. I know what the blueprint is, but you don't always reap the benefits right now. But I know what I'm doing, and I know I have a gift, you know. I'm a Taurus, you know. A lot of Tauruses believe that their throat chakra is where they shine from, and you know, others can believe a life path number, so your crown chakra, philosophy, you know, educator, intuitive, healers, things like that, or throat chakras, singers, you know, the blueberries. That's how you balance those things. When people have diseases, thyroid, and like bad metabolism, they take iodine, they take seaweed, you know. I'm deep in it, man. You can learn more about me, but the longer that we're here. But I want to tell you what I've learned from all these things, you know. Plant-based chef, or why I had to stop eating meat, and why I could go back, but you know, I healed chronic disease, and you know, gut issues, and things that even everyone relate to, like our parents that have diabetes and arthritis, and you know, that's what I wanted. That's my message, to have a product for the world. You know, I like talking about astrology and things like that, but you know, I've been working on my message, like talking to people all day, like what are people doing around the world right now, in the country, because now we have so much time inside with technology. It's like, how are we connecting with people and stuff? So, yeah.
So do you think you think there's we're at a disadvantage or an advantage?
We're at a different time.
Yeah.
It's hard to see what's really happening, because nothing like this has ever happened.
So let's talk a little bit about the law of attraction, or whatever you want to call it. Some, you know, karma.
For sure.
Because you just said that message about your mom, she kind of envisioned where she wanted to be, came here, wanted a better life.
Yeah.
People do this all the time, and it's important for them to understand the vibe that they're putting out is what they're going to get back into return. And sometimes you just see people on social media. Actually, in fact, there was this great restaurant that just opened up, and this guy's having trouble keeping new team members part of it, because there's so much, they're growing too fast, and people are leaving, they're doing all this. And I saw some guy comment on it, and he's bashing. He says, you know, you messed up my
social
orders.
media is hard nowadays, because you open a business, you open a page, sometimes you'll just get like weird comments.
But so the thing was, he was bashing this guy for messing up his order, right? And then you had, I'm not exaggerating, like 27 comments of other people defending the owner of the restaurant and bashing this guy now. So you made one bad comment, and you got 27 right back at you.
You got the support back though.
And it was interesting because the owner has been putting out nothing but positive vibes and apologizing. And in his defense, you had 27 supporters defend him off of one negative comment. You had one negative comment, and you had 27 people coming right at your throat, right? And it was important to just look at that, and people could say, oh, gosh, here goes social media. That's worse again. But if you look at it differently, it's an interesting way to look at the law of attraction.
Yeah.
And I don't know, any inspiring words you have on that or any advice?
Yeah, the law of attraction is a real thing. If you haven't seen The Secret, that's an old flick, a documentary, came out like almost 10 years ago. But the law of attraction is you are what you think, and what you constantly focus on is what you get. So if you have a bad situation, you keep pondering on that, it's gonna bring more of that. You know, the law of attraction don't care if it's bad or good. It's whatever you said it was. If you say you're sick, or I'm feeling sick constantly, or keep putting it out there that you say you feel sick, even to that nature, it's that the universe, God is ever hearing, so it hears everything. Even if we're thinking it, we don't have to say it. That's why I always say watch your words. So for law of attraction, that's perfect, because you gotta watch what you say, because I've seen it in music, like speaking on death, like even in their songs, and you gotta watch what you say.
It's countless of those examples,
and it's showing
people
you in your
talking
face.
death, and a year later they're not here or something like that.
Rest in peace to all of them, by the way, because we've lost a lot of people. We live on the East Coast. These things were kind of put on us in society. It's kind of put here, set up by some kind of other entity, But I'm not afraid to tell the world my truth, If everyone's doing it, I'm gonna come with my stuff too, and that's what I love, just to keep sharpening my message and keep building a community with my friends and seeing them grow as well, like financially, spiritually,
Do you work with other light workers or?
Yeah, for sure. Tarot readers, they read me. Every day we work on what that card means. I got the universe card today. I felt like I'm an old soul. Like I would be like different from my classmates. I saw that later on in life, and that gave me a realization. I was kind of an older soul, so spirituality became like such a niche to me. And I'm glad you guys gave me this opportunity. I'm so blessed to be here, and I'm gonna listen to it back. And
So what's your goal to spread peace and love in the future? What does that look like to you?
Ooh. It's a revolutionary time we're in right now. Everyone's using their voice, social media. I happen to be blessed to inspire some people, through this journey. Sometimes I don't even think it's real, but people are listening. Yeah. And we do have extra sensory abilities, to influence society, and that's why my whole nature goes so deep. I've been through a lot of health issues, but if you can know yourself, your true self, you're tap into your intuitive, you can learn how to learn your way around society and see how well where you fit and how you can influence, and seeing how strong that influence can be, can be kind of interesting, especially with all this, it's a great tool to invest in and put your time in.
So I know a lot of people who are on their spiritual walk that do not accept the ops, right?
Yeah.
They have such strong religious beliefs or such strong other kinds of beliefs that they're not open to the opposition, and not saying that you open in a sense where you have to accept it. Open in a sense is learning more of it so you're more aware of it. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And they ignore it, they block it off, and I think that's part of ignorance, and that's adding that's slowing you down, I think.
And that's ego.
Yes.
To not be open to certain information even though it's true. Yeah, man.
To turn the face.
That's the whole thing about spirituality and higher consciousness, is to try to transcend the ego, you know. Yeah. Where do we get our pride from and our energy from? You know, yeah.
There's something there, though, right? There's something. I don't know if it's ego.
Ego edge got out. That's what I heard from.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, like, when you think about it, right?
Go ahead.
I think there's something naturally in humans that we're proud. And that pride can go either one or two ways. Sometimes we get it and we misalign it with what we're truly here for, and other people use it, pride in a sense, with I'm proud of the gifts God gave me and now let me sharpen them, that I'm proud of who I am, right?
Yeah.
Where the other way, people are just proud and the ego and they're just doing stuff because they're showing off, or I don't know what the exact reasons are.
Absolutely.
But if you think about it, people are really proud of where they're from, right?
Yeah.
They love waving their flags, whatever flag that is. It could be an ancestry flag outside of your, it's like a natural thing. Even you're rocking Princeton. We went to Temple University. We love rocking TU stuff. But that's a natural thing, right? You're wearing a Princeton shirt.
Yeah, for real. Like,
why?
Shoot, man. Princeton's a vibe. I live near there. People ask me, like, have you gone to the school or not? But I know people that went to the school. Yeah. So that's cool to know.
But I wear, like, if I rock the Temple one, it's because I was proud I went there. That's what I'm trying to say. It's like there's a pride thing. So to wrap things up, what's your recommendation to anyone who's looking to start their journey in, self-knowledge and enlightenment?
What do you want to get from the world, and what do you want to give back? And always ask questions, and always question the way things aren't the way that you think they're supposed to be, and honor your ancestors, your parents. Love those that are around you. Family can be hard, but sometimes those are God's choice, or your higher self. Sometimes, some people say you choose your parents for a certain reason, things like that. So, yeah.
All right, so any parting words, or if not, how can people reach out to you?
Instagram, Be The Spark 425, BETHESPARK 425. Instagram, and I have my music, my link in my bio. Yeah, I'm glad to be here. It's like using my voice, I love that. I think that's my purpose, and I know that is, and that's why I'm here. And I like that, that grounds me, because doing this is a great start to the freaking January, Yep. Everyone's on that new year, new me vibe, so let's do great things, Awesome. Faith, hard work, gratitude, it'll get you long. So I'm glad we vibed and we got to know each other. It was awesome.
For sure. Well, joining us. All right, so we like to wrap things up with quotes. The first one is by MJ, the Michael Jordan. Always turn a negative situation into a positive situation. It's not always easy, but try. Second one by Harvey Mackay. When you wake up every day, you have two choices. You can either be positive or negative, an optimist or a pessimist. I choose to be the optimist. It's all a matter of perspective. Knowledge is a wealth. We cover topics that range from the law of attraction, positivity, energy fields, numerology, divine coincidences, and much more. We wrap the episode up with quotes from Michael Jordan and Harvey Mackay. Awesome. Guys, thanks again for joining us. The Rotated Views podcast was produced for self-development purposes. Huge shout out to our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by the Blessed Lifestyle brand. That is BL3SSED.com. Also sponsored by The Motivation Files Unleashed. This motivational mixtape will be your fuel for success. Available on all platforms. Guys, don't forget to visit the website, JimmyleeVelez.com. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Rotated Views. If you have any inquiries or questions, email us at info@JimmyleeVelez.com. On behalf of myself and the rest of the crew, we wish you massive success. Stay blessed.